everyone, and welcome to a very special show. This is My Sachin. It's not just about the record breaker, not just about the great man, but about the person that he is. It's going to be great fun. I'm Tina, with me is Anand.
Yes, and let's bring in the man who's not just the voice of Indian cricket, but also the man who knows Sachin Tendulkar best. He's our special guest on this very, very special effort. From the start to the finish, as Sachin Tendulkar blazed the trail,
gets it!
This voice,
First man on the planet to reach 200.
has echoed his greatness.
From India, Sachin Tendulkar.
No one knows Sachin better.
From 147. Take a bow, master.
The one and only voice of Indian cricket, Ravi Shastri, right here on Times Now. Hello, Ravi Shastri. Shaz, how does it feel counting down to 200?
Well, it's an emotional feeling. It's it's a moment that one should celebrate, more than anything else, because he'll be the first human being to play 200 Test matches, and he couldn't have written a better script. He ends where he started, his first-class career, which is Mumbai, at the same ground. Will also witness his 200 Test match. So, like I mentioned, come what may, doesn't matter how many runs he gets or what he does. It's a moment just to go out there and celebrate.
All right, Ravi, we've also got an absolutely star-studded lineup joining you here on the show today. Let's tell you who will be joining us. We're going to have two of Sachin Tendulkar's closest friends with us. That's Zaheer Khan and Harbhajan Singh, two of cricket's biggest fans. Arbaz Khan and Aftab Shivdasani joining us. Also superstar John Abraham, Sania Mirza and Clive Lloyd. No lineup like this one right here on My Sachin.
But also, let's welcome a very good friend, an adversary, and also a living legend in cricket itself, joining us on this very special effort.
Okay, so we're talking about a legend. We have a legend with us in the studio. We have another legend talking. Tell us what it feels like, first of all, to know that Sachin is now counting down to what will be his last match.
I think you just have to reminisce on what a great career he's had. 24 years playing international cricket. The dedication, the discipline that is needed to go through that period of time. It's testimony to the strength of the individual. It's going to be a wonderful occasion over the next 5 days. I feel honored that it's a West Indies team that he's playing against, even though Kolkata wasn't that impressive, but hopefully the guys can put up a good fight, a good, tough game for him over the next 5 days.
Listen, who's listening to you? It's Ravi Shastri also joining us at this point. Shaz, you're hearing what Lara said. If you remember 2011, Sachin was in 99 international terms. It was against the West Indies. It was the Wankhede. He scored 94. Those memories coming back. Will he do better? Will he sign off in style?
Well, with great players, you should never, put it beyond them to write their own script. He might be playing his 200 Test matches. He might be having the nerves which one would expect, in the sense that they will be jangling. He's playing in front of his home crowd, but he's been a champion, and he's played like a true champion for 24 long years. And don't put it beyond him to come out there smoking. What I would have liked is, instead of Brian sitting in the studio, Brian out there for the West Indies. And what a sight that would have been. Lara, Tendulkar in the same Test match together, and Tendulkar finishing off. And maybe Lara going on to play another 6-8 months.
He is thinking about it. You didn't think about that, did you?
I did think about it. It'd be lovely to have on the whites tomorrow, Ravi. It's an awesome occasion for any West Indian cricketer. Hopefully, someone that looks slightly like me, Darren Bravo, could take my place and maybe score 100. You never know. But I'll be watching from the stands, and it's been a privilege to have walked on the same field as Sachin, sometimes walking next to him, as I did in the Sky Dome in Canada, I did at the Oval in England. He's been just a true champion and a very good friend of mine as well.
But in terms of personal interaction, what was your first interaction with him, and what was the first impression?
Well, we first spoke in Canada, a rest of the world team versus the West Indies. Viv Richards was the captain of my team, and we were two youngsters.
Right.
So obviously we hit it off pretty quickly, and we became very good friends. We also played in the World Cup 1992 in Australia against each other. But again, being the youngsters in the team, the relationship just grew from there. And then we batted with each other in Canada against Pakistan. And we had a wonderful 200-run partnership that we still speak about, playing against Waqar and Wazim and Imran Khan.
Well, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch both of you play. You've often been compared, as you know very well. And we have one of your greatest fans joining us in the studio right now. So let's welcome Arbaz Khan.
Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar, two dabang players. Did that inspire Arbaz? We'll ask him that. But first, let's talk about the man who's going to step out to play his final innings at the Wankhede come the 14th of November, Sachin Tendulkar. It's not just your calls, your mails, our experts in the studio, but we have also got fans connecting with us through Radio Mirchi, our partner and friends from across 5 to 6 cities in the country. We've got them joining us from Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Ahmedabad and Bhopal. Before we ask our guests in the studio, should go across to Shaz, Tina. Right?
Absolutely, he's got lots to say. And Shaz, like you said, you know, it's going to be a momentous occasion as soon as Sachin walks out there at the Wankhede. Fitting finale, absolutely, for him at home. But, you know, there's been so much focus on the fact that this is his last match. How is he going to approach it? We know he's tried to keep the focus entirely on cricket.
Yes, the nerves will be jangling, but with great players, 10 minutes at the crease, if he times a couple that goes to the boundary like he did in Kolkata, he might want a little bit of more luck than he had in Kolkata. Things could be different, because once you're out there in the middle, he's playing his 200 test match, he'll be immune to what's happening around him. And as long as he sees the ball and plays it on merit and plays naturally and freely, I don't think there should be any problem whatsoever.
Memories of your last match out, and also I've always been wanting to ask you and Sachin this: when do you know it's going to be a good day out on the field? You're going to get the runs.
It depends on the work you do off the field. And in preparation, Sachin, I'm sure, is going to prepare himself like he's done for all the test matches that he's played. And if he feels confident before the game, you never know, that could be transferred onto the field over the next 5 days. It's his last match. There's a lot of extra pressure that is going to be placed on him. Maybe on him, he would do it personally for himself. And you never know what the result is going to be. But I think that's secondary to the fact that what he has given us over the last 24 years. He's just got to go out there and enjoy himself. Not too much pressure. Go out, playing against a good team, the West Indies. But I believe that at the Wankhede Stadium, he can pull out something very special.
And what about your last match, like he said? What were you thinking?
Impromptu.
Was it?
At the World Cup, yes. I was at the World Cup, looking forward to getting into the semi-finals or into the finals. We were playing at home. And by the time the last match of the second round came around with England, we were out of the World Cup by then, and I called it a day. I thought it was the right time to do it for the betterment of West Indies cricket.
Okay.
Had a pretty young team, needed a young leader to take them forward, and I wanted to put my energy into something else.
There's a reason why we're calling this show My Sachin Arbaz, because we're going to ask you to talk about your Sachin while you're sitting next to Brian Lara. So it's the fan who's going to talk today.
I'm a great admirer of him. In fact, I've been a great fan of his too for the longest time.
You can tell him that.
I met him once before, and I told him, and I was so happy. In fact, when I got to know that he's going to be on the show, I was like, all the more reason I should be here and speak about Sachin and then be so close to such a living legend. Amazing.
So now tell us what is going on in your mind as you see the other great man signing on.
Well, first and foremost, it's like happiness and sadness in many ways. Happiness for the fact that Sachin has given us such amazing cricket for such a long period of time. He's entertained us by such, and he's been a role model. He's been inspirational. He's been in so many ways great for the game of cricket, and not just about how he's conducted himself on the field. Even the kind of life that he's had outside the field has also been very great. So that makes him a very, very amazing sports personality and a person, which is great. And sad that we're never going to probably see him on international cricket ever again play, don the cricket gear ever again. So we're going to savor and relish this last test match that we're going to see, and I think we have all prepared for it, so it makes it all the more better, because there have been, maybe Sachin is an exception, but there have been a lot of cricketers who've gone pretty without much fanfare, or have been dropped from the team and never got a kind of a retirement or the kind of exit that they
but this
longed
is Sachin.
for. But this is
the
Sachin,
legacy
yeah.
is going to remain forever. I mean,
Forever.
cricket is never going to be played without a mention of his name. Also joining us now is film superstar and a well-known sports buff, John Abraham. John, thanks very much for joining us. Now, Sachin is bidding adieu after serving the nation for 24 years. As you see this, what is running through your mind? We know you've been watching him for all these years too.
Well, I belong to the generation that's grown up watching Tendulkar bat, and I still remember when he got out. I belong to that generation that shut off the TV when he got out. So, I think I am a lucky generation that's got the opportunity to watch Tendulkar bat. I don't think the generation after me is going to have that opportunity. But I think, I believe that all good things come to an end, and Sachin Tendulkar retiring was inevitable, and that's exactly what's happening now. I wish him all the best. I've had the honor of meeting him and speaking with him, and the personality makes him all the more special to people who really know him closely. I've had the opportunity of meeting him just once.
Well said there, John. But what do you think is the most defining factor about Sachin that sets him apart from the rest?
His consistency, number one. Sachin Tendulkar's, he's been very clear from the start, he's a team player. He doesn't play for himself, he plays for the country. And be it any interview, be it any game, you know that he's the most unselfish person out there. So I think that's, and for me, that's the single most reason why Tendulkar's lasted so long. Because when you think India, you think Sachin Tendulkar. And you always know Sachin Tendulkar is doing something for India. There is nothing, today when you look around, when you want national treasures of this country, I think Sachin Tendulkar is the national treasure of India, because he symbolifies what India is about. He symbolifies unity.
Now, Ravi, you're somebody who's actually known him the longest. You've known him right from the start. First impressions, did you know he was special immediately? And really memories that stand out now in your mind after 24 years? Shaz, the question was for you. 24 years, memories that stand out, and first impressions of Sachin?
Well, the memories that stand out would be actually the first impression, that I got of him. Because he came across as someone, immensely passionate about the game. He was only 16. So, you were actually afraid, what's going to happen to this kid when he's thrown at the deep end. And when you watched him play that first test match, I think that was the only time in his career in that first innings where he might have just looked out of place. And for the simple reason, you can't blame him. Here's a teenager, just 16 years, and thrown up at the deep end against Wasim, Imran and Waqar. And he seemed to be in a hurry. He seemed to be carrying on that school cricket, whatever first-class cricket he had played, into the test match arena. And he realized very quickly, that he had to take his time, he had to respect the conditions, at the highest level. And what amazed me was how quickly he started shifting gears. In a year and a half's time, he had got 100 in England. And by the time he was batting opposite me in a 200-run partnership, 198 200-run partnership at the SCG, you saw him blossoming into a great player. The 148 he got there, he had shifted at least 4 gears from the time he played his first test match and was already being talked about as one of the best players in the world. So that's how quick his transition was. And of course, memories would be of real... champagne batting from him would be the 2 one-day hundreds he got against Australia back-to-back in Sharjah.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen him batting better than in that period between 96 and 99. And of course, that series against South Africa in 2010, where, the tracks did a bit. His innings in Cape Town was simply unbelievable. And he was pushing 40 by then. He was about 37 years of age, where the ball did all sorts of things. And he might have been beaten 20 times in the day, where he refused to take his bat out to, towards the ball, the bat stayed there, the ball went past the outside edge. But every loose delivery, he put away to the boundary. I think he ended up getting 146 or 148, an innings that stood out. He got 200s in the series, and the memories could go on and on, because you're not talking 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 14 years, 18 years. You're talking 24 years in the game, and I don't think I've missed a beat. I would have watched 95% of those Sachin innings, at close quarters, either as a player or from the safe confines of a commentary box. And I'll tell you, he's given us immense enjoyment. That's why I keep saying, come what may in this test match, just let him have a chill pill, get out there and chillax.
Yeah, you mentioned the 146. What's more special, the 146 in the first innings or the 14 of 91 balls that helped India draw that test? We'll ask our experts, and also Harbhajan Singh, who joins us after a very short break. Stay with us.
Sachin, I heard him first time he was singing songs, and we were sitting there till, I guess, 3 in the morning and singing songs. It was brilliant. Really loved it. Enjoyed it.